Hey everyone, Erica here, and I am back with another video for you. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to do a segment. I'm not entirely sure it's going to be a full segment on my channel, like once a week or anything like that, but it is something that I thought about doing. Today I'm going to be talking to you about some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. I got inspiration for this idea for this video. One of my friends had asked me about a palette and what I thought about it, and to be honest, I had never heard or tried out the palette that she was asking me, so I couldn't give her my honest opinion on it. But I thought it would be kind of cool to just let you know. I know that a lot of palettes are a little bit on the pricey side, I mean the good ones. So I just kind of wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on, you know, what kind of palettes I prefer. And I don't know, if you're a beginner, maybe you don't necessarily know the colors that you're going to need all the time. And if you're more experienced with makeup, I think you know what colors you use. But also it just depends on what looks you do. If you do a lot of natural looks, and you're going to want a specific palette. If you do a lot of color looks, you know, you're obviously going to need something different than a natural palette. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you want to learn what my favorite palettes are and what I recommend to you, then please keep watching. Thank you. So I do have some palettes here. They're the majority of my palette, like all that I really have. I don't have that many, but considering how much each palette is to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all my palettes. So let's see, I have 3. So, okay, so I have 6 palettes to talk to you about today. But I think I'm only going to really go in depth with only 2 of them. So, first off, I'm going to go on with the classics, the Nakeds. The Naked palettes. I have 1, 2, and 3. So, these are the 3. Obviously, I have all of them. If I'm being honest, I don't use 2 and 3 that often. I use 2 when I used 3. I used 3 today because I'm wearing this pink shirt. So I used a little bit of pink in my shadow today. But the Naked 3 is very pink and romantic, and a lot of like rose golds and that kind of thing. So if that's something that you're interested in, then this would be for you. The Naked 2 is probably what I use least. It's almost like identical to the Naked 1, the first Naked palette, except this one has like a ton of shimmer in it, and I don't always love shimmer in my look. So this guy, the number 1, is my second favorite palette that I'm going to show you. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with this one. So this palette has so many great colors in it because I use pretty much all of them except maybe this last really deep dark blue. I really don't use that one that often, but pretty much all the rest of them are like fair game, girl. I'm about those colors. I bought this palette for my mom for Mother's Day, and she says that it's like her go-to palette now. She reaches for it all the time because the colors are just so easy to work with. They all go so well together, especially for like, you could do a lot of natural eyes because there's a lot of browns. This one here, Buck, Naked here and Buck together are a perfect transition color. The color that I put right here to kind of transition the lid color to your highlight, it really brings the colors together perfectly. But if you want to be a little bit more crazy and you're like, I'm going out, I don't want no natural eye, you got this beautiful gold color and this a little bit more like bronzy gold color. I put those colors, like, you know, smoke it out on your bottom lash line. These colors are perfect. So if you didn't get that already, I'm obsessed with this palette. I love it. I highly recommend it out of all the Naked palettes. This is my favorite. So moving on, I know that you guys have all seen me use this guy, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. This is another one that I really love. He's not my second favorite. Like I said, the Naked, this one is 1 out of 2 that are my favorite, and this is the second. The first place one is coming up, so I'll show you. This chocolate... She's freaking out. This chocolate bar palette is pretty cool. I like it too, just kind of along the same lines as that Naked palette, the first one. They have a lot of nice, you know, nice natural looking colors, but then they also have some crazy ones like this deep purple here, and they've got a pink and a gold right here. So this is a good palette to have too. Plus it smells like chocolate. If you like are hungry and you're like, just kidding, don't eat it. It does not taste like chocolate. I'm not going to tell you why I know that. Moving on. So I love that palette, but you know, I still think that my other two are still the best. Okay, excuse me, miss. I'm trying to film a video. So one of the last palettes I'm going to talk to you about before I reach my tried and true favorite palette is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Lavish palette. So this palette is pretty awesome. I was waiting for it for a really long time, and I finally got my hands on it, and I love it. This is the palette here. But if I'm being honest, you're not necessarily, if you're more of a natural, neutral kind of girl like me, and you're not that daring, this might not be the palette for you. They have like purples and greens, and there's this like black glittery color here. My favorite colors are these, the orange soda and sienna. I love those two together. Oh my gosh, I love it. You wouldn't think so, but that orange color, that's just a perfect transition color, especially when using that sienna. I love it. But I mean, if you're like, Erica, where am I going to use an orange eyeshadow for? Where? Like, what am I going to do? Then I'm telling you, don't get this one. But I do love the palette, and the colors blend perfectly. Okay, so I know you've been sitting on the edge of your seat like, Erica, what's your favorite palette? I gotta know. Did you guess right? Did you know that this was gonna be it? So the Lorac Pro. I'm gonna tell you, if you are gonna spend money on a palette, it's this guy. I am a neutral kind of girl. I like looks that aren't that dramatic. Not all the time. I like the dramatic looks, but not every day. So I am more of a neutral kind of girl, and this palette, so these are the gorgeous colors here. They are magnificent, and I love them. So I'm just going to run through a few of my favorite colors here. So this taupe color, this soft brown here, is my favorite transition color. Even if I'm doing like a really strong eye, I usually reach for this palette just for that color because I love that transition color so much. It just works with everything. I love it. So that is definitely one of my favorites. These two shimmer colors down here, I love them for my brow highlight, for the brow bone. Oh my gosh, I love it. They stand out so bright. Let me just swatch one for you. I barely touched it, and that's how much payoff that one got. And that was the nude color here. That looks a little intense, so you're not going to be like going to town on your brow bone with that. But that's just to give you an idea on how pigmented these colors are. But again, like I said, you can go from a really natural look with these colors to a super bold, smoky, dramatic eye. Look at these colors over here. You've got this beautiful shimmery like brick color, and then you have this deep purple, and you even have a black in here. Like, if you want to achieve a smoky eye, you need a black, and they got a black in here. So I don't know what else to tell you. If this isn't just telling you like, you know, flashing at you, you need to get this palette, you need to get this palette, then I don't know what will, because this palette, it is giving me life. Okay, I love this palette. I can't say anything else about it. Why don't you marry it? I will. I love this palette. So I hope that gave you a little bit of help. I hope that you feel a little bit more knowledgeable now with some palettes that I mentioned. If any of those palettes look like, you know, a good time to you, then go out and buy it. I mean, they're expensive, but they're going to last you, and they're good quality stuff. That's the reason why they're expensive. At least I hope so. So again, I hope that this gave you some sort of insight on what palette you should buy. Leave me a comment in the comment box below if you want to see a specific look on any of these palettes, if you would like to know more about any of these palettes, or if you need my opinion on a palette I did not mention. I would be more than happy to get back to you on that. Other than that, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and that I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.